Hey, and welcome back to the Academy of Witchwood. This is Guilford, and well, I'm standing around on my stone steel here. I do have some plans for today. I asked you the question last time, if I'm going to build a magical tower, how about a lighthouse? Well, I got some comments that a lighthouse would be perfectly fine, so yeah, I already designed one. I just need to build it, and it's going to be built somewhere over... Wait, where are we? Somewhere over there. Hi, creeper. Don't you dare hurt my doggos. Don't you dare. You stay away. Somewhere in this direction. But today I want to go into the Twilight Forest and maybe get myself a nice sapling from there. I also want to map out the Twilight Forest, so I need more maps. I need a whole bunch more maps, and while we have sugarcane automated now, we still need honey bottles or slime balls. And I thought building a honey farm might be a nice first step for today, so that we can get some honey bottles in the background. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a honey farm, and I think we might do our first steps into the mod create to actually automate this. So setting up a honey bottle farm and getting a portal to the Twilight Forest going, these will be the main goals for today. So let's get going. For the bee farm, I laid out a simple method I want to use. So we do have our bee nests. I will put those relatively close to some flowering azalea, which counts as flower. So the bees will be able to pollinate with that. And yeah, there will not be a lot of space, so the bees don't escape and go wandering around anywhere. As I'm using an AoE poison spell, I really don't want my bees to be a lot flying around, because the chances are rather high that I might hit one of them and then, well, the bee apocalypse starts. So I will encase those just for their own safety. Then I can connect some fluid pipes to these bee nests with a mechanical pump, pulling out the liquid from the bee nests directly into a spout, which is placed above a depot, so I can fill up honey bottles there. That's the plan. I'm going to build it. Let's see if the plan works out, and if not, well, I need a new one. So, see you in just a moment. And here it is. Like I said, I just have a small room between the bee nests and the azalea, which nicely encloses this space. I do have some pipes with a pump over here that pulls all the honey from the bee nests into the spout. And as you can see, I have around 750 ml buckets in here, and now I can just place some glass bottles here, and you can see now I have 3 honey bottles. This is very manual at the moment. I can only store up to 4 bottles of honey in the spout, plus a little bit in the pipes and the bee nests itself. But hey, overall, as long as I just keep some glass bottles here, they will fill up by themselves and stay on this depot for me to collect. So, without further ado, let's build a lake. And where do I want this lake to be? Do I go in this direction? There's the ocean. Well, the ocean is everywhere. So let's just choose a nice spot. And I think right over here where the willow tree is might be a nice spot to create a small lake. So you enjoy the time lapse. I'm building a lake, and I'll see you soon. And there we have a portal to the Twilight Forest. To open a portal, it's really quite easy. You have to have a pool of water, at least 2 times 2 blocks, but you can see it also can be quite a bit bigger. I think the maximum is like 23 times 23, like another portal. Just that the portal needs to be surrounded, or the pool of water needs to be surrounded by any type of plant or vegetation. Typically flowers. I used short grass. Works all the same. You can, as you can see here, destroy the grass or whatever you have around it after the portal is opened. And if you want to open the portal, just throw in a diamond. And here we have a Twilight Forest portal. I have made progress in the discovering of forgotten knowledge. The Rite of Silent Bound. What is this? The first echoes, dated the 13th cell number, year 12 of the withheld breath cycle, preserved archive, forgotten scriptorium, sealed wing. Before names were forbidden, some still dared to speak to graves. They did not seek life, they wanted to listen to the memory that stone refused to forget. There were not yet called necromancers. The texts refer to them as the echo bearers. Solitary, marginal figures who, for forgotten reasons, lingered near graves longer than those who mourned. Some carried a broken ankh, found or stolen. Others gathered grave dust, mixing it with ink or blood to draw circles on bare stone. 23rd Blade Silence, year 14 of the withheld breath cycle, Valley of the Hearthul. I placed my palm on the faded slab. A vibration coursed through me. The cold has thickened. A voice, not a sound, but a suspended thought, whispered to me, "You're not the one I awaited, but I remember anyway." These first echoes were not summoned. They came to those who knew how to remain silent. The watchers, they still watched, but they said nothing. 5th Thundershade, year 18 of the withheld breath cycle, Valley of the Hearthul. A man carved 7 circles around a bare grave. He left no name, no offering, no word. He sat and waited. Legend says the stone bled and a faithless breath rose, then vanished into his parted mouth. His name was erased from all known archives, but the ground where he sat still refused to grow even a blade of grass. They did not want to command the dead. They wanted the dead to hear that they were remembered. Gradually, fragments of knowledge began to circulate. Words, gestures, objects shaped in the shadows, engraved stones that trembled when certain names were spoken, black jars where ashes and poems were slipped, breath memories condensed into smooth pebbles sealed with bone wax. 31st Vigil Shadow, year 20 of the withheld breath cycle, fragment found in the crypt of Ken Alor. Those who want to see the dead walking are blind. I want to hear them when they no longer speak. They were not yet dangerous, but the world has begun to feel that chill. And in the deepest layers of ancient tombs, some awakened breath, some unguarded, were already waiting to be awakened again. They say some would kneel motionless near a decorative grave, and no wind, no shadow would dare disturb their presence again. Very interesting, a little bit creepy. I'm interested to take a look at the Tombstones mod at some point. I didn't expect to get the scroll today, but hey, wherever you go. Okay. While I was waiting for some honey to accumulate, I went ahead and added one more thing to my collection, which is an enchantment setup. Currently, it's just the very basic version. Let me port up here. So it's just 15 bookcases around an enchantment table. But you can see we have Eterna, Quanta, and Arcana in here. We can level up things to a much higher level later on. But that's not what I'm going to do today. I do have a few levels. Let me actually just take one of my armor pieces and get an effect. What did we get? Protection 3, Fire Protection 3, Tombbound, Soulbound, and Blessing 3. That is actually quite a nice set of enchantments. And while we're at that, maybe we get something nice for our leggings too? Protection, Fire Protection, Unbreaking. I think that's great. With these, we have a few more chances to survive whatever we come against. And I also went ahead and got myself my Witch Hazel Broom and 2 new broom brushes in case the one that I have breaks. With that, I think we are set to go on a little adventure. So, Fred, Fluffy, you both will stay here and protect my home. I trust you. Do nothing, get inside there. I will be right back, or I will be back. Might take a little longer. I'm going on an adventure. So, let's leave the nether portal laying around. You can see the bottles of honey are accumulating slowly. And let me jump into the Twilight Forest. And my portal generated right next to the end boss of the Twilight Forest. I might be dying here. Let me get back. This is not how it's supposed to be. Like, no. It shouldn't. This is unexpected. So, for those of you who don't know, the Twilight Forest has a variety of biomes, and you should start in one that is like a normal forest biome. There are a few biomes like the Glacier I was on right now, which are unlocked via advancements in the progress. So if I go into the advancements and I take a look at the Twilight Forest, you should start with something like the Naga as a boss, go and slay the Twilight Lich, and this goes on and on and on further to the right until at the very end you will see what I just saw, which is the Aurora Castle. I don't know what has happened, but I'm not entirely sure that this is like anything that I should be able to see right now. So we got a bit of a look. We have our Twilight Portal here. This is the Castle of the End Boss. We have some foresty things around here, but everything's snowy. I'm really not sure what to do. I could go ahead, jump into the Twilight Portal and just take my leap spell and try to get off in one direction. But it will be really hard to get back here in a normal way. I mean, I do have my recall spell, which will bring me home no matter what. But yeah, I think I just need to jump in there, get my leap spell ready and my umbrella in hand, and then we need to get the hell out of there. Let's see. I will just choose one direction and see that I escape this. There seems a little bit less ice. That looks more like something I should survive in. Okay. Okay. The Twilight Forest is filled to the brim with challenge dungeons, with boss fights, with all sort of cool stuff. I didn't expect to go from the end boss castle to the Lich Castle in like 5 seconds, but we do have, I think, one of the most beautiful dimensions that have ever been created in Minecraft right here. We have a bunch of new creature, like the bighorn sheep, which is just the Twilight Forest equivalent of the normal sheep. But we also have things like May-apples. We do have a bunch of small birds flying around, which are very cute. You could kill those for feathers, but I'm not going to do that. But you also have really nice things like deers or kobolds. Let me get rid of you. No kobold. But you dropped a book. Notes on an icy cave. What is this about? The blizzard surrounding these snowy lands is unceasing. This is no ordinary snowfall. This is a magical phenomenon. I will have to conduct experiments to find what is capable of causing such an effect. The curse seems to be of a type too powerful for one being alone to produce. Several wizards working in combination would be necessary. If one of these wizards stopped contributing, the blizzard would calm. Strangely, my divinations do not show any signs of nearby living wizards. I did see something interesting in one of the nearby pointy roofed towers, though. Huh. It seems like I'm being asked to climb this one. But before I do that, I would like to get myself some glowberries. And the icy cave is killing me again. Okay. So. What's interesting on the Twilight Forest is that it's always in the twilight. So it will never be day, it will never be night. Sure enough, if it starts raining, everything gets a little darker and we might be swamped with monsters. But overall, as long as you don't go into the more critical areas, you should be fine. You're on a lead. Interesting. And I think I've seen a squirrel around here. Are you guard zombies or something like that? Huh. Alright. Let's go over here. Oh, that's a chest. And it's protected. Ah, come on. Notes on a pointy tower. I've begun examining the strange aura surrounding this tower. The brick of the tower are protected by a curse, stronger than any I've seen before. the magic from the curse is boiling off into the surrounding area. In my homeland, I would have many options for dealing with this magic, but here my supplies are limited. I shall have to research. A breakthrough. In my journeys, I sighted a huge snake-like monster in a decorated courtyard. Nearby, I picked up a worn-down, discarded green scale. The magic in the scale seems to have a curse-breaking properties I need, but the magic's too dim. I need to acquire a fresher specimen, directly from the creature. Okay. It seems like I will be not able to climb this tower until I've defeated this snake-like creature. So let's see if I can find one of those. And I think here we just found what was described in the book. I think this is a Naga labyrinth. So let's go down here. Maybe not just jump off, but there's a Naga. You can cheese this quite a bit by just staying in the air. To be honest, I could just stay here and attack it from above. You can see life is ticking away. The Naga is quite strong, but is beatable with like diamond gear. I don't really enjoy the fight with the Naga because it's just very all over the place. But also, I can't really hit it from above. So let me go down here, jump off, and I'll take it head on. And I think they upgraded the way this labyrinth looks from the last time I played this. I think this is amazing. Ouch. The AI of this snake is similar to the phantoms, so it will charge at you, but if you hit it on the way, it will, well, turn around and leave you again. And here we have a dead Naga. Boom. And we have a canopy chest. This is something they introduced because if you killed a Naga or any of the bosses and you had a bit of bad luck, well, it could be that you just missed the drops or they flew somewhere. So it now just spawns a chest in the middle of the boss arena and you can, yeah, use that. I think the Naga arena or this labyrinth here is really beautiful, very nicely made, also with these spiral bricks here. It's just very cool. So, I can put the Naga trophy on my head for knockback resistance and max health, but I also have my superstitious head. I would like to keep that. And I got a vengeful gem which can be used within the Lich Crown, which I don't have, at least currently. Let's see if we get this today. And back to where I was just a few minutes ago, now with the Naga head and trophy in my hand, I should be able to break the curse of this thing and actually access everything. Obviously, you don't need to keep the trophy in your hand. It's just that you need the achievement to go in here. As you can see, there's a bunch of fireflies sitting around because I found a new artifact, which is the Firefly Queen, which just, yeah, keeps everything around me nice and bright. I think this looks amazing. This is the main tower, and when I was in this tower the last time, it was like so much smaller than today. They really upgraded all of the different dungeons and things there are here. I think it looks absolutely stunning. And there's a good amount of loot actually. Here are some of the greatest enemies of the Twilight Forest, in my opinion, but also some of the worst if you don't know what's happening. It's flying enchanted books. Flying around and dealing a hell of a damage. And I still haven't started to climb these ladders. But with this much progress currently happening, I would say let's end the episode here. Be curious about what awaits us at the very top of this tower. I will see you next time with more adventures in the Twilight Forest. So until then, have a great day, have a great evening, wherever you are in the world. See you then. Bye bye.